Today, Dave and AJ will be talking Bianca Belair Dream matches, and afterwards, we will be getting to more from the Pro Wrestling Illustrated 2022 Readers Poll.
All right, everybody. That's right. We got some Bianca Belair Dream matches coming your way. AJ and I got all the list and all the excitement for you. Are you ready?
I feel like the first thing I should do is apologize to Montez Ford because my face was buried in Bianca's ass during that picture. So I apologize, Montez. It wasn't my fault.
Yeah, no apologies needed. Montez Ford does not view you as a threat, I'm sure. So, would you, in that note, no offense. Wow. Would you like to? Hey, neither am I. I don't think anyone on the show is. So, yeah. But hey, why don't we kick off with a list? You can make your apology up by giving us a good list. What do we got to start off here?
Martinez, he's from the Mothership Facebook group. He's got Lita, Tori, because Tori would have been so good in this generation. I think that you are way overestimating how good Tori was, and you also spelled Tori's name wrong. Bill Nakano, which would have been fantastic in this generation. Mickey James, who actually also I think would be fantastic, and Jade Cargill. So overall, tremendous list. I just think you're looking at Tori. I assume he's talking about Tori Wilson, and Tori Wilson with rose-colored glasses.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of either Tori. I know what you're talking about. There was the other Tori too that was in DX, but yeah, neither one.
Unfortunately, both Tori and Stacy Keibler came up at the perfect time for them to be successful.
Yeah. I mean, they had a look and everything too, and they were where they were, and everybody knew that. They just, not exactly in ring where I would put on for dream matches.
There's no way. And I'm not taking away from Tori Wilson because she keeps herself in phenomenal shape.
Oh, yeah.
She is absolutely an outstanding athlete, but she would have been blown out of the water and by Bianca Belair.
Absolutely. Now, Randy Osgood's brought us a couple friends here. He's got some lists here. Griff Bordigan. Hope I'm saying that right. He's got Jackie. He's got Trish Stratus. Trish Stratus will be a name to look out for. Britt Baker. I don't know if I gave you Britt Baker. I might keep an eye for that. Lita and Sable.
Might want to keep an eye on Lita also.
Yeah, Lita definitely. Yeah, actually, Lita's in almost all these lists he presented to me. So.
I know you can't stand Lita because the way she broke Matt Hardy's heart, but
I'm still pissed all these years later.
I don't blame you.
She do it.
All right.
Cool.
So I've got Matt Damon's little brother, Ryan Damon, from the Mothership Facebook group. And he's got Other Than Me, Charlotte Flair. We've got Bailey. We've got Beth Phoenix. We've got Asuka. And we've got Io Sky. Now, here's the funny thing. And a lot of these names are going to come up often. Charlotte, Bailey, Asuka. And they're all tremendous matches, but since we've seen them all 15 times each, I'm not putting them on a fucking Dream List match. Next time, pay attention to Dream List.
Well, I mean,
I'm not counting them. You can count them on a separate list, but I refuse to actually count them towards the Dream match.
All right, we got Anthony Laterra. He's got Trish Stratus, Lita, Britt Baker, The Virtuoso, and Jordan Grace.
That is a hell of a list.
Now, before we get started, well, wait a minute now, though. If they've only had one match, are they disqualified? And how many matches?
Which one of those three that they named had they only had one match?
It was Bailey,
Charlotte, and Asuka.
Yeah, I don't remember how many Asuka matches there were. But
there has been plenty of all three of those, especially Bailey, who worked with her for basically a ton of time, and Charlotte. And don't get me wrong, I appreciate it. It would be a great match to see again. But if that's your dream match, well, just tune into last year's Raw.
Yeah, and I mean, like Sasha Banks, I think has only wrestled her one time. Like she'll come up.
Which I can understand because maybe it's nice to see Charlotte come back. Right. But literally any week you can see any one of those three matches, except for Charlotte, who's too busy either fixing her boobs or hanging out with her husband to wrestle anymore.
Hats off to Charlotte Flair. Did you just read a list? No, I did. That was Jordan Grace was the last one. Go ahead.
Yes. So we've got Don D. Ramirez from the Mothership Facebook group. We've got Jade Cargill. We've got Victoria, who should come up often because Victoria is one of those female wrestlers who, quite frankly, was way ahead of the other people that she was working with at different times. Lita, Thunder Rosa, and Mickey James. So that's a great list. Good job, Don.
Nicely done. Nicely done. We also got another list from one of Randy's friends, Alex Lorenzo. He's got Lita and Trish, both making again. Victoria, once again. Mako Satomura. That's a good one.
Nice.
And Willow Nightingale.
Nice list.
Yeah, these guys are
Tell you
bringing.
what, so far Mickey's showing up a lot.
Yeah,
That's
so far Randy's friends are killing it over here too. By the way,
absolutely. I've got Paul Thomas from the Mothership Facebook group, or MFG if you prefer, and they've got
sorry.
they've got Trish Stratus, Ronda Rousey. Now I do think that we haven't seen a lot of interaction between Ronda and
Bianca?
it's no, I wasn't going to say her name. I was going to say it's one of those matches where it would be so physical that their chemistry might not be there, but I think it could be one hell of a just brawl.
Yeah.
That's and then we've got Serena Deeb, who finally shows up. We've got Mickey James again. And then I like this one, and I'm going to tell you why I like this one, because they put a reason for it. They put a proper build to a Mania match between Charlotte Flair and Bianca Belair. Now, the reason why is because they have not built it properly in the past, and I could see where you would say that. I'm still not counting Charlotte, but I could at least see your reasoning behind it.
All right. Well, the man who's already had his friends kill it comes here himself, the big dog, Working Fans Podcast, #1 fan, Randy Osga. He's got Bianca Belair versus Jay Cargill. He's got versus Britt Baker versus Roxanne Perez. Camille, that's a good one. Physically, they match up very well. And Tessa Blanchard, a name we haven't heard too much in recent times.
You talk about somebody who has been taken out of the spotlight. Tessa Blanchard, we talked 3 years ago, was on the tip of everybody's tongue as the best young female wrestler in the world. And because of some of her accused actions and because of pulling herself out, quite frankly, in some areas, she's now on basically a forgotten entity. Well, I guess that'd be similar to her dad.
Yeah, it's always not on too many lists too either, unfortunately. The Blanchards know how to get themselves some heat, unfortunately.
Absolutely. If only she got a little Magnum TA in her. We've got Jonathan Meisner. He's got Bull Nakano back again. We've got Medusa. How is Medusa only now coming up?
I don't know.
Literally the best female of her generation has now come up one time. Congratulations. We've got Serena Deeb. We've got Gail Kim. How has Gail Kim not come up before? And then Jonathan Meisner has himself.
Huh. Okay. Well, he had some good lists going there.
Like I said, Montez Ford, I apologize. These lists might not go the way that we want them to sometimes.
Oh my goodness. All right. Well, let me get back to my list. I'm busy here. All right. I got Daniel Backley from Cage My IQ. I
can't believe he wants to face her.
He does not. He's got Sasha Banks, who said only went one time. Shayna Baszler, Becky Lynch and Asuka in a triple threat match. That has not happened.
And not happened. And what was the other one?
Bailey.
All right. Before I say this, I'm going to preface this by saying I absolutely love Daniel Backley. He is a very knowledgeable wrestling fan, big supporter of the show consistently, but that is one of the worst lists I've ever heard in my life.
Did you not like Shayna Baszler?
Oh, yeah. No, I think Shayna Baszler would be great. We didn't see that at all in NXT.
All right, moving on. All right, so AJ's got a real problem with a couple things you need to realize. Matches we've seen, and he's not really a fan of the Jake rule. He tolerates it.
Yes. Sean McKinney from the MFG, and he's got Fabulous Moolah. I guess I can believe that this would come up only one time due to the fact that it is such a bygone era and the fact that she's gotten some bad press over the years. But Fabulous Moolah, Mae Young, which I think would have been an interesting one. I hope they mean in their prime and not the 80-year-olds that we saw.
I want to see them think of that hair whip at 80-something years old.
Yeah, that'd be great. Here's one that I'm surprised hasn't come up yet. Awesome Kong.
That would be a great matchup.
That's Wendy Richter and then Jade Cargill.
Jade Cargill. Sign me up. Sign me up. You know who's coming up next? Charlie Hill. Charlie Hill. Charlie, don't fuck around Hill. He's got Bertha Faye. I love you. The real song. Mae Young. Sensational Sherry. Another good one there. Trish Stratus. And a name that AJ wants to hear more often, Medusa.
Yes. That's the now I've got Andrew Betts because I apparently am only doing the no. He's from the Booking the Territory Facebook group. Ooh, thank goodness. That's and he's got Bailey. He's going back to Book the Territory. Asuka, Io Shirai, Dakota Kai, and Piper Niven.
That's a good one.
Piper Niven is actually on the roster and has already also wrestled a few times.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I forgot. Yeah, Dewdrop.
Yes.
Yeah.
However, if we could put her back to Piper Niven's original style and make her Piper Niven again, that would be more entertaining.
Well, I'll tell you what I got next. I got the big dog himself, Pat Oates.
Wait a minute. Is that the man who opened up for Tommy Davidson last weekend?
Yeah, while he was... Go ahead, Joe. Oh.
Funny you bring that up because he sent us this list while watching Tommy Davidson. It was during the show, and he said that he was watching Tommy Davidson, but he was thinking of Bianca.
There you go. Well, I mean...
I would think of Bianca when I'm watching Tommy Davidson also, even though Tommy Davidson's an underrated comedian.
But Pat Oates gave us Mickey James, Jazz. That's a good one. Jay Cargill, Gail Kim, and I don't know about this one, Santina Morella. Former battle rower.
That's what I like about Pat. He's willing to dig deep and really come out with one that nobody's going to expect.
Who you got, man?
So the only list I've got left is myself. I don't know how many lists you have left.
All right, I got two more plus me. So let me wrap these two up then. We got our very own producer, Joe. He's got Athena. I'm actually surprised that hasn't happened yet. Camille, Roxana Perez, Medusa, Deanna Purrazzo.
I knew my man Joe would come through there.
He did.
By the way, Medusa now has 3 votes.
He does. All right. Dave Fabe has got Bull Nakano.
Nice.
Julia Hart. Oh, man. Martha Hart. Jimmy Hart. And me. Well, he started
off really good. And it just went downhill.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to let you give your list, and then I'll finish up then this week.
All right. Before I give my list, let's do a little update here. Believe it or not, Mickey and Trish are actually tied for the lead with 5. That's they've got Jade Cargill and Bull Nakano are tied with 4.
Okay.
Britt Baker, Lita, and Medusa all have 3. Beth Phoenix has 2, and none of those other schmucks have any.
Okay. Well, luckily, I'm not going to do too good at keeping up here. So you give me your list, and then I'll.
So I do have Medusa.
Yep.
I thought that her combination of speed and everything would actually mix very well with her.
Mhm.
I have also the former Mrs. Kensuke Sasaki on my list.
Oh, I knew you would.
Yes, that's a lot of people may not remember her, but her style was absolutely fantastic. I've also got Bull Nakano.
Yep.
That's Trish Stratus because I love me some Stratisfaction. And then I also have Lita.
Okay. Well,
So Team Bestie.
I'm gonna make sure Mickey James makes this list. I'm gonna definitely go with Bull Nakano. I will also put Medusa on there. I'm gonna throw in just to be a little bit indifferent there. No one's gonna
A
have
little
this.
bit indifferent or a little bit different.
A little bit different. Max
Yeah.
the Impaler. No one's gonna have that, but I'll have that. And just for giggles, let's see. I'll mix it up. I'm trying to mix it up because I don't want to.
You're trying to make it. You're trying to make it so Trish doesn't win. It's fine.
Oh, do I not have? I gotta
You
put
didn't
Trish
add
on.
Trish. There
Yeah.
you go.
Yeah, I can't not have Trish.
I'm literally sitting here going, "How is he not saying Trish?"
Yeah,
I thought you were going to go with Dark Journey or Woman, but that's fine. That's
Sister Sarah. Yeah. All right. What's our final votes now? Give me your top 5.
So with your vote, Trish did get the most with 7.
Yep.
That's Mickey James and Bull Nakano tied for the 2 spot with 6 each. They were all tied with Trish up until your vote.
Let's give Trish an automatic bye, and let's count the rest. We got Mickey and Bull, and who
Mickey and Bull, and then Medusa's actually come back to the number 5 spot. Is got 5 now, so she's actually now in the number 4 spot. And then Lita and Jade are tied with 4 of them.
Okay, all right. So we'll get rid of Lita and Jade then, and we'll concentrate on Mickey, Bull, and who was the other one? I'm sorry.
The other Mickey, Bull, and then Lita and Jade.
Oh, okay. Oh, so Mickey and Bull were tied, and Lita and Jade were tied.
Yep, and Medusa's in between the 4 of them.
That's what I was getting at. Medusa. Okay, so Medusa, Mickey, and Bull. Okay, so let's break this down so we can have some people competing here with Trish. This is like we really got 4 left, really going at it. All right, let's do this bracket style. Let's talk about Trish versus Bull Nakano. Who makes the better match for Belair?
Out of Bull, wait a minute. Out of Bull and sorry, I'm literally getting texts from my wife at the same time. Who's trying because she can just sense that I'm doing something that's not her. But between Bull and
Trish.
Oh, God, who makes the better style? I hate to say it, but Bull.
I think you're right. I think
that's if we're going by style. I didn't know we were going by style here. Yeah, Bull's
what makes a better match? That's it?
No. What makes a better match and what makes a better style? Because the best match of all time is fucking Hogan versus Andre. That match sucked ass.
Okay,
that's but what makes the best match when it comes to draw? Trish Stratus and Bianca Belair.
Right, that's gonna draw the house. Right.
Yeah.
What's the more entertaining ring match? You think Bull Nakano?
Personally, I'm like you. I'd rather watch Bull Nakano.
Yeah, I think it'd be more.
That's not going to make the money. If you put Trish versus anybody on this list, that's where you're going to draw the house.
What are other 2 matches? What are other 2 candidates here again? Medusa?
I mean, by that logic, Jade Cargill versus freaking Bianca Belair is probably going to be a stinker too, because Jade's just not ready to wrestle at that level. But people are going to pay to see that because they're going to get to see 2 great athletes, and they want to see Jade against somebody who's as strong as she is.
Well, if we're going by the idea of drawing money, Trish has got to be number 1, and then I would say Mickey is number 2.
Yeah, Mickey or Medusa. Medusa in her prime would have printed money also.
Yeah, no doubt. So I guess what we're saying here too is like, so Trish is the draw, and by going by Al Snow's logic, the business of wrestling, that's what makes sense as the number 1 match.
Yeah, but I think we have to look at the total picture. Don't get me wrong; that's the key element. That's the total picture. But I think Trish can have a good enough match and can wrestle well enough where it's going to be an entertaining match. Also,
it's not going to be.
Yeah, Jade Cargill is going to draw also because people are going to want to see that. But I don't think she can actually
She's
wrestle
not going
yet.
to have as entertaining a match as any of these other people we're talking about.
Exactly. So Jade's got to be the first one off the island, in my opinion.
Well, she wasn't even up for grabs, so that's okay.
Well, I thought we were taking her because she was tied with Lita. Sorry.
Okay. Well, we've lost track. So as far as I know, it's Lita. Oh, sorry, not Lita. It was Mickey, Medusa, and Trish, and there was one other one that was tied here.
Bull Nakano.
Yeah. So
yeah, it just threw me off because we were going with the 4, and then you said bracket style, and I thought you were including the other ones that were close also.
Nah.
Because usually we just go with 3, so it just threw me off.
We had so many ties. That's why it was interesting. So
I mean, if we're going with 3, quite frankly, we shouldn't even count Medusa. Should just be Trish, Bull, and Mickey, and that should be the only 3. Because even though they tied for second place, that's still 3.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, too, this is really tight. Because I mean, I think any of these women right here are some of the best in the world. Can have talented matches.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm like you. I would rather see Bull Nakano. I think that it would be a hell of a match.
Yeah.
Mickey and Trish basically wrestle the same damn match.
Mm-hmm.
That's so.
And I love Mickey, and Mickey's got the longevity, but I still think there's something to that run with Trish at this point right now.
Well, and like I said, I still find their wrestling styles to be so similar that to me it's 1A and 1B watching them wrestle.
Is there a difference in this? This is going to be a little separate here, but is there a difference here? If you're making a wrestling Hall of Fame, right, in your eyes and your credentials, it's your Hall of Fame, and we're talking about who's the bigger star. All right, same 2 people. Is Trish a bigger star than Mickey? But also, does Trish go in your Hall of Fame before Mickey? And if so, why?
So here's the incredible thing. Even with the longevity that Mickey James has had and with the ability that she has, I still think if you go out there into public and talk about Trish Stratus compared to Mickey James, more people still recognize Trish Stratus than they do Mickey James. I still think she's the bigger star in public. And that might just be my opinion. And unfortunately for Bull Nakano, as much as we love Bull Nakano, she's not even close to being on the same par as these 2.
No. And Medusa,
same thing with Medusa.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Medusa's in that time period, even though she was a game changer. She's in that time period right before Trish Stratus, where women's wrestling meant little to nothing to the wrestling world. And I hate to say that.
For throwing the belt in the trash can.
Exactly. That's literally more people can remember that moment than any match that she had, except for maybe wrestling Bull Nakano.
Right. Well, all right. So this week, I think we're gonna give. I think we'll give Medusa that number 3 spot, Mickey the number 2 spot, then Trish Stratus taking it home for number 1. And here we go.
All right, guys, we got more of the 2022 PWI Readers Poll. I just did that whole intro with nobody there.
I was listening. I was like, maybe it's me.
I could not hear Joe at all.
I couldn't either. Neither one of us said it.
I was doing it, and I didn't realize I didn't click myself in the studio. So we're continuing with more of the 2022 Readers Poll, and we're going to kind of breeze through this because we've had issues with this poll. And this week, the PWI 500 came out, and that's going to be the next segment we're going to do because that's arguably wrestling fans like one of their favorite segments out of the year.
Yeah, I used to love to see who actually got number 500. I remember the year Duke Drosy got it and all of a sudden was in the WWE.
Did you see this list at all, AJ, that came out?
I have not. I wanted to be blind. I wanted to be blind so you get my real reaction.
Okay.
All right, so we're going to jump around here a little bit. And question 33, we're going to skip 22. Or 32. What are you sick to death of witnessing in televised wrestling?
Oh, I got it. The fucking spot where everybody every promotion does this, the stupid ass dive, and then we go to the commercial where everybody's out on the floor or something happens, and it's that break in the action. It's so repetitive. It's been done to death. I realize why they do it, because they want you to think that, oh, you're not missing anything when we're not doing the picture-in-picture. But I just hate it. I hate that. And also, this might not be a TV thing, but I hate the near fall. 1, 2, shit. Like, fuck out of here.
I don't mind the near fall if it's towards the end of the match. I don't like the near fall when they do it like 2 minutes into the match. Like we're all sitting there going, "Whoo, thought he had him."
Okay, I'm gonna little plug here. I don't mean to cut you off. I want to say this before I forget it. You'll understand and you'll agree with this too. Rip Rogers, who I interviewed last night, coming up here very soon, whenever we get edited.
Next week.
Next
If
week.
you listen to this podcast wise, we have John Arezzi this week and Rip Rogers next week.
Well, there you go. But Rip had a thing. He said that Dick the Bruiser, he wouldn't even make a cover until he was about ready to win the match. All right.
So I agree with that 100%. One of my biggest pet peeves is all the false finishes, and I hate people kicking out of each other's finishers. When they first did it in the late 90s during the Attitude Era, I understood what they were doing. They were trying to make it more tantalizing, make people sit on the edge of their seats. But now we've gotten to a point where it takes 15 finishers. How is it a finisher if it takes 15 of them to end the match?
Something else we talked about.
Well, all right. Rapid camera cuts got 52% of the vote.
Oh, yeah. People hate that.
Augmented reality CGI got 33% of the vote.
Mm.
Long promo segments got 33% of the vote.
Yeah.
And outside interference got 32% of the vote.
Hey, I want to take actually, I want to ask this to AJ for a second. The camera cuts. There are people that have a lot of problem with this. Me and Joe know someone in particular who does have a problem with this, I know. And I'm taking this up with AJ because I'm just curious. AJ, do you even notice these things?
No, I couldn't give a shit about the camera cuts.
Me neither, but it is a problem with people. I just want to know that. So it's very interesting.
I will tell you one of the things. I'm also going to stick up for something here. A long promo, when done correctly, can be a great promo. We also have to remember people's attention spans are not what they once were. Hence, people enjoying TikTok and stuff that lasts like 30 seconds. People don't have the attention span anymore to watch long promo. So I don't blame the long promo. I blame you morons for not having the attention span to actually listen to them.
That's right. The fans. Fuck you.
I mean, you great fans.
All right.
Subscribe.
So question 34. Which wrestler has the best intro music?
First one that pops in my head, and there may be others, but just today is Edge.
Wow.
I love Edge.
What about Jericho?
Jericho's good. Everybody sings along. Yeah.
Or Jungle Boys is another good one that really catches.
Actually, a lot of people were mad about it, but I actually really like Orange Cassidy's new one with Jefferson Starship. I think that's a badass song.
Well, guys, CM Punk got 19% of the vote. Chris Jericho got 12% of the vote. Roman Reigns got 6%.
Good one.
Cole 4%. Cody Rhodes 4%. Kenny Omega 4%. And others got 51%.
I actually don't really like Adam Cole's new music. I do like the fact, and maybe this is what people do, where Adam Cole is amazing at hitting that.
Times that out.
Ooh, yeah. So, but actual song.
I will say this: there is a slight chance that we might never hear Cult of Personality again. So,
now, question 35: which wrestler has the worst entrance music?
Oh.
Ooh. Who do I hate? Who bugs the shit out of me when it comes out?
I don't like Braun Strowman's. Not only do I not like the music, but I don't like the fact that it reminds me that he's coming.
Yeah, I'm trying to think.
I know Dave hates Randy Orton's. It's fine.
I don't care about Randy Orton's one way or the other, honestly. It just doesn't. Yeah, a lot of the music I don't like, for me personally, I just tend to tune out. I don't think I can think of something so bad off the top of my head where I'm just mad at. I do have a song. Go ahead, now.
Roman Reigns got 7%.
Ow, talk about polarizing.
Happy Corbin got 4%. MJF got 4%. Sami Zayn got 4%. Others got 81%. So I don't know about
I actually like Sammy's. So
you know what song I do like, by the way? And it's we could just take a second there. I'm in love with Joe Henry.
Aren't we all?
He has great entrance music.
Yes.
I would like to say they don't make entrance music like they used to, like the old WCW Slam Jam album. To me, that was when it was true magic.
I went on a Joe Henry deep dive a little bit today in the sense I saw, if people haven't seen it, they did a little video last night of him coming to Impact. But how they started is basically there's this guy in a hospital, and I was fast forward to commercials. I stopped, like, wait, what the fuck am I watching here? And they're parodying the brawl in AEW too. If you don't pick up on it right away, they're like, Dad's been attacked. Somebody threw a chair. You can see the bite marks. Now I'm like, oh, okay, I see what you're doing. And I'm like, wait, he's saying something. What's he saying? And he's saying, and then he goes, Joe Henry. And then Joe walks in and he's got the boom box and he's like, say his name. And it's just funny. It's good. And like when you start seeing this guy's career, if you go like YouTube stuff, like he's done so many videos like this. Like there's one with Drew McIntyre I recommend you see where he's feuding with Drew in Insane Championship Wrestling. And he's like, you know how annoying it is when someone goes all about themselves all the time, like Drew does. Drew this, Drew. This is what it sounds like. And it's basically the blue song. It's like, I'm Drew. And it's these little Drew guys that start popping up. And then there's that line where it's like, I've seen my girlfriend and it's like basically his girlfriend, but she has a Drew mask on. And it's just very ridiculous, very funny. And check out Joe Henry.
He also, by the way, he also can work. He's actually a hell of a wrestler.
He is a hell of a worker, but continuing on.
Question 36. In your opinion, which stipulation or match presentation is the most overused in 2022? We're looking at you, AEW. We love AEW, but they abuse these things.
To me, it's the Falls Count Anywhere. I'm not a big Falls Count Anywhere person, and I include in that like the Stadium Stampede and all that different stuff where they're just wrestling everywhere but the ring. To me, wrestling should happen in the ring, and very seldom it should mean something special if you actually leave the ring.
So overused stipulation? What's the...
Okay, I'll give you the answers, and then you guys can talk about it from there. So a qualifier match got 40%. Multi-person match got 22%. Death match got 13%. Ladder match got 12%. Others got 13%.
Interesting. I still really enjoy a good ladder match. But yeah, there are way more ladder matches than there should be nowadays.
I dislike the table match more than I dislike the ladder match.
We ain't seen a lot of that though. Probably
but you do see more ladder matches now than you do table matches.
Yeah.
Now, on the flip side of that, question 37, which lesser used match stipulation would you like to see more often?
You know, we've been through it all now, you know.
How about Judy Bagwell on a pole?
Best 2 out of 3 falls got 47%, and I think that's a good one. 3 stages of hell got 19%. Strap match got 13%, and others got 21%, with other vote getters being an Iron Man match, a scaffold match, first blood match.
I got a couple for you. Fucking nobody's bringing back the scaffold match, guys. You fucking barbarians. Get out of here. But
I can see Sammy Guevara doing a scaffold match if they did.
Yeah. I want to see
Sammy versus Darby.
A scaffold match.
Oh my God, Sammy Darby. I would say here's 2 things I'd like to see more of. It'd be fun. NXT UK was doing this, but I wouldn't mind seeing them introducing it once in a while a little more. The round system, like we had with the cup that UK thing was doing a little bit.
Did you see the shitty one they did on NXT with Wes Lee and that guy that comes out with Carmelo?
Yeah, not fucking boxing rounds.
Not a boxing rounds match.
Johnny B. Bad and Don Page did that too. That was awful.
An English. Dave's talking about an English style match where they have the Marcus of Queensberry rules. Yeah.
Now, and the other one I would say too, once in a while, bring it back. A really good maybe title feud or something like that. The old best of 7.
Nice. I like that.
You got 2 guys that can really go and put on great different style matches.
They're doing a best of 3 right now down in NXT. That's with what's his name, Axiom and Nathan Frazier.
Oh yeah,
They're actually doing that best.
they can go. Yeah.
Absolutely. I'll tell you one match which should never, ever, ever come back, and that's the Coal Miners Glove match. That should never come back.
Oh, it's glove.
Question 39. Who is the best wrestling commentator in 2022? And for the sake of fairness, me and Dave are not including our names on this list.
I actually was going to vote for you, one of the two of you guys. I was going to toss a coin up, though, because you guys are so good.
That's votes then.
Yeah, he's commentating right now, but Morrow would make my list as far as wrestling goes. I like Morrow a lot.
2022, though.
2022, right? Yeah.
By that logic, we might as well just go Gordon solely if you're going with Morrow, because they're both calling the same amount of matches.
Very close to the same thing, you guys. It's not Jim Ross anymore, unfortunately. I know I still love me some Jim.
No, it's hard when you have to wipe the drool off his face every time, and he can't say a sentence that actually means anything to do with the match. It's hard to still vote for him.
He'll let you know what he thinks sucks.
Yeah, absolutely. And sometimes it's even what's going on in the ring.
Yeah, he's trying. I appreciate it. Yeah, no, I'll tell you right now. This is funny. This is not my choice, but I have to say, if we keep seeing this version of the guy who did Clash at the Castle, Michael,
you were reading my mind on that one.
Like, from worst to first, Michael Cole might end up fucking making this list. In the meantime, I know everybody's got a hard on for Excalibur. I like him enough. I'm going to go a little different. They do, AJ. Well, let's see who is this. I'm going to say my personal favorite, though, is, and I usually like the play-by-play guys. I'm like AJ. I'm going to go with a color guy. I'm going to go with Taz. I actually think Taz, everything he's doing with breaking it down and just the way he fits it, I like Taz a lot right now.
Pat McAfee.
Yeah, that's excellent
for
choice.
2022, Pat McAfee. I absolutely love Taz also. He's the reason why I listen to the broadcasts in AEW. Him, when they have William Regal stop by or Jericho stop by, that's great too. I think Excalibur's overrated. And I absolutely love Pat McAfee. So I'm going to go with Pat McAfee.
Pat McAfee got 23%.
Wow.
Excalibur got 16%.
Okay.
Jim Ross got 14%. Tony Schiavone got 9%. And others got 38%. Others being Michael Cole, Kevin Kelly, Ian Riccaboni, and Taz.
There's a lot of people that just still love Jim Ross out there and are not actually being honest with themselves.
I don't think he's as bad as some people say either, though. I think he's just somewhere in between. I don't think he's knowledge.
I don't think he's bad. I think he just doesn't focus on the match anymore.
I don't think he's saying.
Yeah. What?
I mean, listen, I'm not saying that like he shouldn't still somehow put it over. But let's be honest, he also comes from a time period where the announcer is supposed to be credible, and I don't think he's enjoying what he's seeing.
He does not give a shit about putting over the AEW product. Whereas Tony Schiavone's a little bit different.
Unless you're John Moxley.
Yeah.
Or somebody he really likes or something you can tell. Then it comes out. He even said one time, I'll take you back. It was Serena Deeb and Thunder Rosa. It was one of the first times Serena Deeb had been on an AEW broadcast, maybe the first one, and they locked up, and they had this really intense lockup. And JR and Tony were both like, whoa, what a lockup. And JR's like, you don't see even anyone do it. And JR's like, I better not get myself in trouble. Like, you can tell. Like, oh, yeah, I'm going to enjoy this and put this over a little more,
Yeah, and I think that is definitely part of it. I don't think he's enjoying the product that he's watching, and that's definitely affects what you're seeing.
Sure.
All right, now question 40, and to avoid a conflict of interest, we will not mention our names in this, but if you listen to wrestling podcasts, which one is your favorite?
Oh, right now? I'm probably really enjoying William Regal's podcast at the moment. Although I go back and forth with so many different ones.
You literally just keep saying the same thing I'm going to say.
Regal. Jericho, if he has a wrestling guest on, sometimes enjoy that. I'll tell you what has some interesting takes. If you want to hear just their stuff on today's wrestling, they're pretty. I think they're pretty.
I think you're going to steal it from me again.
No. It was Conan keeping it 100. Him and Disco.
Oh.
They definitely will bring some interesting takes on what they like and don't like. They give credit to AEW, WWE when they think they deserve it, and they're not afraid to criticize. So I like them a lot.
So one of the ones that I actually like, and Dave actually turned me on to this one, Freddie Prinze Jr.
Oh, yeah,
Freddie Prinze Jr.'s take on wrestling is very interesting. He looks at it from a lot of different angles and actually breaks down what it takes to actually be able to run the show instead of just the wrestling itself. Talks about everything and he doesn't pull any punches. He's not out there to bury people, but he doesn't pull any punches and talks about it with great honesty. So I like Freddie Prinze Jr. also.
All right. Well, Jim Cornette got 15% of the vote.
I can't listen to him.
Busted Open got 9%. 83 Weeks got 4%.
Huh.
And others got 72%, which is Talk is Jericho, AEW Unrestricted, and Jobber Tears podcast.
It's interesting that out of all Conrad's podcasts, 83 Weeks is the one that got the recognition in there.
I can't believe that many people still enjoy Jim Cornette.
I think Jim's got a lot of very interesting takes, and I enjoy Jim, but it's just very long of a podcast to me.
Yeah.
So,
it's very long, and he has a tendency of going off on diatribes that I don't necessarily need to hear. If he focused more on just the wrestling and cut down how long it takes, I think that would be great. And no, I was never in the PWI 500. I like to think every year I was 501.
Oh, shit. I didn't even notice we had a comment there. I was looking for how we were going to do these next couple questions. Now we're going to do this rapid fire, guys, because we have a bunch of the same questions. So this is, where do you see viewership numbers of these particular programs a year from now? Tell me what you think, and then I'll tell you what the people said. Where do you see Raw viewership numbers a year from now?
They'll be up. Under the current direction, they'll be up. They're going to struggle a bit with Monday Night Football. They're going to do okay, but then going to WrestleMania season, you're going to peak. How far?
All right, what do you say, AJ?
There's two times they struggle. Monday Night Football is always a big thing that goes up against them. And then, of course, there's always the dog shows that run against them. But other than that, I think that they're on the upward track.
So what do you think? Up, down, or the same?
Oh, did you not hear me on that?
No.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, they're on the upward track.
Now we can.
Oh, I actually, no, yeah, they're on the upward track. Sorry, I actually said, what I had said was that they usually struggle against Monday Night Football, but once that season's over, they're usually able to actually overcome. And I think they'll rise back up because they're a better product now.
All right, so you're saying they're up about the same, said 34%, slightly lower, 31%, significantly lower, 22%, slightly higher, 10%, significantly higher, 3%. This was obviously taken at a different time. Now, where do you see the viewership numbers of SmackDown a year from now?
That's a little trickier just because it's network TV. I'll say slightly up.
AJ?
Sorry, that's the viewership is going to be slightly up for SmackDown. I think that it's going to continue to go. I think that they're growing a good product there once again, but I don't think it's going to be a large increase. I think it's just going to be a slight one along with the momentum that is SmackDown.
All right, about the same, got 36%, slightly lower, 29%, significantly lower, 15%, slightly higher, 15%, significantly higher, 5%. Now, where do you see Dynamite numbers a year from now? And you got to keep in mind, they did this early in the year. I think after the whole Punk debacle, that could really change people's minds.
Although they did just put up a huge number this week.
Yeah, they're putting up a huge number right now. We're going into, but just the controversy and everything. And we're going into Arthur Ashe. Yeah. I'm going to say, I'll be optimistic and say slightly up, but I could see them staying the same. They take 10-2, they go to about 1 million, then they drop between 9 and 8, and then they go back to 1 million. We'll just see where it goes, but I'll say slightly up.
I'm going to go slightly up also, and the reason why is because no matter what product they're putting out on Wednesdays, and they are still putting out a good product, they don't have any competition on Wednesday nights. There's no wrestling on Wednesday nights except for them. That's real competition to them.
Slightly up.
Yes. Did I cut out again?
I don't know. I think there's an issue here between you and Joe's feed. Actually, Joe's paused
Joe's
out.
frozen.
So, there's Joe.
All right. We're back. Now, slightly higher got the most votes. Some people said significantly higher, and about the same got 16%. So people were very optimistic for Dynamite. Now, where do you see NXT a year from now?
Oh, that's interesting. Only because of the logos change and everything like that they're doing now. The timing in this could have been more interesting. Look, wrestling on a whole is just doing a lot better right now. I think creative wise, everything's going well. So I'm just going to say straight across the board, I'm going to be optimistic and say everything's going to be slightly up, and we're going to be in for a good year with pro wrestling.
Yeah, everybody NXT is going up too. There is some people that have been struggling. Impact did their worst number in like 3 years. They did 60,000 last week, which is not a lot of viewership. However, they did add Joe Hendry to it this week, so should double.
Now, about the same got the most votes, and then it went significantly lower, slightly lower. And this is at a time when 2.0 was at its height. So like 14% said slightly higher, 3% said significantly higher. I think if you ask those same people this week, I bet the results would be flipped. Now, AJ was just speaking about Impact. Where do you see viewership numbers of Impact a year from now?
Unfortunately, they seem to be going in a down direction.
Yeah, because here's the problem too. All those other companies we said that are doing well, those are all the major programs that are out there too. So then you do have the tendency of wrestle fatigue and stuff too. So
Impact Wrestling is still on a network that is harder to find for people, and I think people just are watching so much wrestling with everything up so far that they're watching so much wrestling during the week that they don't really have to work. They don't want to work to find it on a Thursday night.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now, most people voted about the same, slightly higher was just below that. And nobody really thought that it would get much lower. But Impact has always had this thing where they kind of go up, kind of go down. And we're going to end on question 48 because it's going to go into next week's segment. And this was before the PWI 500 came out. So before it was released this week, who would you have thought would have been on it?
On the PWI 500?
As number one on it.
Oh, interesting. So I know who was number one. But
I don't, but I would guess Roman Reigns.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard to really just disagree with the year Roman has. He's been the champ and the man for a couple years. So I don't know who these fans would have voted. That's a tough one, but like Roman's the one who deserves it.
Roman Reigns got 52% of the vote. CM Punk got 17% of the vote. Adam Page 10%. Kazuchika Okada 9%, and others got 12%. Others being Lashley, MJF, and Bryan Danielson.
John got it, but
can we agree that CM Punk does not deserve 17% of the vote?
Well, he was injured, right, for most of the stuff. I mean, I guess it depends when this came out. If he had just won the belt,
even when he was wrestling without injury, he was not wrestling at the level of the CM Punk that we're used to. He's certainly not the best in the world. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure some people still believe it because they're idiots, but he is certainly not, and he doesn't deserve it.
All right, well, we're going to go Jake rule on this. I got one more for you. Who will be number one in the 2022 Women's 150? That has not been released yet.
Okay. Interesting. Right now? I think I'm going to go with Bianca Belair.
I want to go in a different direction. I want to say Britt Baker, but I think that Bianca Belair is going to take it.
Bianca got 41%, Thunder Rosa 19%, Britt Baker 16%, Becky Lynch 6%, and others got 16%. Deonna Purrazzo, Charlotte Flair, and Sayuri.
I don't know why. As much as I like Thunder Rosa, I didn't have faith in the wrestling fans to pull her through. And I even debated that in my head before I said it.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, now later on in this episode for audio, you're going to get our John Arezzi interview, which in real time we will be recording tonight at 6. And next week, remember, we got 531 Tony Storm Dream matches. And we will also have audio from the Rip Rogers interview, which Dave recorded yesterday.
You do not want to miss the audio next week. Not that you don't want to miss this week's, but you don't want to miss next week's audio with Rip Rogers. When you talk about a character from a bygone era and someone who's just going to tell it how it is, Rip Rogers is going to be one of the most entertaining interviews we've ever done.
I've got to still listen to it and see what needs to be edited out, but I heard it was quite the interview.
He might have called me an alleged sex offender, but that's fine. He called himself. So whatever.
Matter of fact, for a little bit extra money, you might be able to get those behind the scene clips at some point.
Now, guys, is there anything else you want to talk about before we go out today?
No, I think we're good. Although there is a little bit of buzz going around tonight that apparently that Logan Paul might show up to SmackDown and pick a fight with Roman Reigns. So maybe we'll see if that happens.
Also, Joe, is there a possibility, and this is just something that I'm throwing out there, should we do a special episode maybe at some point, the best number 500s, and to see if any of them have actually succeeded at any point in the future? Maybe they started off as a 500 and 10 years later, maybe they ended up as a number 10.
That is an interesting list. We could probably work that into this PW 500 segment, because obviously we're not going to do like we did with the readers poll and go through the poll and go through all 500. We'll probably discuss sections of the 500. We'll do it over a couple week period, and we'll bring you different aspects of the PWI 500. I'm really excited to check it out. I just noticed it in my Kindle this morning.
Nice.
Now, as always, guys, thank you for joining us, and we will be back with you next week.